everyone, it's Nancy Crawshaw from Angus Australia and welcome to our 2024 Spring Bull Night. This year we're delighted to be joined by 8 semen companies who are going to be showcasing the best Angus genetics they currently have on offer to the breed. These bulls are from across Australia and New Zealand and from their travels across the globe. We really hope you find a bull of interest to you, and if you'd like more information, please feel free to reach out to any of the semen companies. Their contact details will be displayed on screen during their segment. Or alternatively, you can search for these bulls using the Angus Tech database and doing a semen select search, which will be able to do a search through all the semen catalogues we currently have listed online with us. And without further ado, we'll get stuck into it, so please sit back, relax and enjoy the show this evening.
My name's Scott Wright, the CEO of Angus Australia. I'm delighted today to announce a partnership with Agri-Gene Australia for the World Angus Forum. We've got about 12 months and we'll be hosting for the first time in 25 years the World Angus Forum in Australia. And we've brought on Agri-Gene as a naming rights partner, so it'll be the Agri-Gene World Angus Forum 2025. It's great to have you on board. Thank you very much, Hannah.
Thank you, Scott.
Agri-Gene are a great collaborator with Angus Australia. We do lots of work together, and this is another opportunity to push the industry forward. We're very thankful for the sponsorship and the help. It means that we can put on a great event. We're expecting over 1,000 delegates, over half from overseas, from 26 Angus producing countries. Agri-Gene have a worldwide reach, so the international team is being involved. Great opportunity to showcase Angus genetics worldwide, so thank you very much, Hannah.
Thank you, Scott. Agri-Gene is a big supporter of Angus Australia and Angus globally, so for us this collaboration and partnership with Angus Australia for the World Angus Forum just made perfect sense for both your organisation and our organisation, and we're really looking forward to what the next 12 months have to bring, and the actual event itself, we're really looking forward to it.
Yeah, so thank you again, Hannah. Great partnership going forward for the next 12 months, and we look forward to having a great event in May 2025 in Brisbane at South Bank.
Welcome to the 2024 Angus Australia Spring Bull Night. I'm Kiralee Lumsden.
I'm Tony Simpson.
And I'm Andrew Medhurst. Stay tuned, we're going to profile some 4 new Australian standing bulls and 1 new impressive sire coming to you from across the ditch in New Zealand. Stay tuned, we're pretty excited, let's go. We're here today with Tom Lawson of Paringa Angus in central Victoria. Paringa Real Deal T57 is a new bull that was sold in the Paringa Angus sale this autumn. He's a bull we're really excited about. So Tom, can you tell us a bit about how the bull's bred and the cow family that's behind him?
Well, I guess he's almost a bit of an outcross for most of the Angus breed. He's obviously a voracious out of a visionary cow, so that was sort of for many Angus breeders probably say he's an outcross. And yeah, I mean, we use voracious, we're really chasing that feed efficiency, claw shape, carcass weight. You know, Real Deal, he stood out as calf. We sort of, we watch him all along, and then we actually didn't put him in our spring sale, and we used him as a sort of a clean up bull after AI program, and he was a really efficient worker. Like, he's one of those bulls, he's put him in and just went straight to work and no messing around, which I really like in a young bull.
Yep.
The thing that probably, really stood out for him was his stability characteristics. And as you know, we run sort of 2 genomics profile on a multi-breed and with Angus Australia. And he was, when we got the data back, I thought, wow, like he was one of the only Angus bulls probably in the world that was above 30,000 on dollar profit and over 100 on the maternal index.
Yep.
And had a 2.9 fertility, which is like the stability, which is really freakish to have a high carcass weight, a bull with beautiful feet, beautiful docility. And then we looked deep into his pedigree and we discovered that he had 10 generations of 6.5 calves and 10 generations at 365 days. So I don't think there's probably an Angus bull that's probably in stud that's probably got that record. So that's 65 calves over 10 generations. So
It's pretty impressive.
yeah, and his mum's just about to have her 7th calf, so she's in the mob behind us. So it's pretty cool actually, and you can see why sort of you guys came on board pretty excited, and then Craig bought the bull at our autumn sale, and it's probably one of the best programs. He's one of the top MSA producers, runs a really slick operation in New South Wales. Yeah, I think you saw his claw shape the other day too. Like I was when we got him on concrete, I was like particularly his back feet, his claw shape. And,
claw shape, heel set, heel depth, leg angle. Like it's just a really, to me, he looks like a bull that will be as good as the day you take him out as the day you put him in. So.
Our next young gun for 2024 is Rissington Titan T330 from the acclaimed Rissington herd in New Zealand. He's a Rissington Meteor son out of a Leachman Foundation daughter who's really starting to stamp her authority on her progeny coming through. He's plus 4.2 for calving age direct, plus 2.6 on birth weight, with a moderate growth pattern and a moderate mature cow weight at plus 106. He's plus 21 for milk, putting him in the top 20% of the breed. And where this bull really comes into his own is through his carcass. He's plus 11.4 on arm muscle area, putting him in the top 8%. 1.4 on retail beef yield, top 8%. And a whopping 6.1 IMF, putting him comfortably in the top 1%. Another feature of this bull is on the dollar profit global analysis. He's above 34,000, putting him in the top 1%. And he's 309 on his dollar ranch, which puts him in the top 1%, which is an estimate of overall profit from weaning to harvest. This bull's got great style and balance on a really sound structure. So if you're looking for outcross marbling genetics for 2024, this is your bull. A bull that we're really excited about for 2024 is Ascot Revolution R320. He's a moderate birth, moderate growth bull with a really moderate mature cow weight for those modern females.
This calf is extra special in my view. He's got a tremendous temperament. He's got extra length. He walks out very, very well. His pedigree is really top class. The paratrooper over the Hallmark daughters seem to be working a treat for us. It's just been a tremendous cross we've found with the Hallmark daughters.
He's high carcass merit at 11.7 AMA and plus 1.4 on beef yield with above breed average IMF at 3.6. Where this bull really comes into his own is with his scrotal, top 6% at plus 4, and his foot data, which makes him right at the pointy end of the breed at plus 0.3 on claw set and plus 0.54 on foot angle, putting him comfortably in the top 1% of the breed. He's a bull with amazing stretch and scale, and a bull we're really looking forward to working with for 2024. Our other new Ascot bull for 2024 is Ascot Statesman S429, now owned by the Seidel family of Fig Tree Park, Angus.
Very free moving and very athletic for a large scale bull. He is bred in the purple. He's by the Danone Prime Minister bull, which we bought a couple of years ago for 140,000. On the female side, he's out of Ascot Hallmark's mother, Brenda F123. So he's really bred in the purple. Just the type of bull he is. You can see where he gets it from both parents.
He's a great calving ease option with short gestation at minus 9.3, a moderate birth with a great growth spread and a moderate mature cow weight at plus 88. He's plus 23 for milk, putting him in the top 10%, and plus 4.1 for scrotal, putting him in the top 5%. His positive fats at plus 0.8 and 0.9 for rib and rump. He's 3.5 IMF with a claw set of plus 0.58 and plus 0.72, putting him in the top 10% quite comfortably.
The other thing is, structurally he's very, very sound, independently structurally assessed with all 5s and 6s. Yeah, so he's, once again, he doesn't have too many holes.
We are here on a sunny July morning at Gundagai at Ryle and Angus with Mark Lucas and family with a new sire for 2024 in Ryle and Ricochet R952. Mark, thank you for having us today. If you'd just like to tell us a bit about Ricochet, what you've seen, how he's bred, and maybe the cow family behind him.
Yep, thank you Andrew, and thank you for the opportunity. So, you know, Ricochet was the lead-off bull and sold for $64,000 to Riddleview, and we do thank Riddleview for operating on the bull. They were looking for a bull to add softness, to add soundness, to add docility, and I believe that they needed a kick-up in carcass. Now, he's maintained that. We've got 60 calves to go in to be registered. What we've found is that our first inspection, where we will analyse the calves on heifers, that we're looking at probably the least amount of bull calves being cut out of that contemporary group, compared to 5 other notable bloodlines that we've used, or bulls that we've used in the breeding of those 500 heifers. His early data on preg check was above average. I think that he was a 64% compared to about a 56% for the average of all the bulls used. So, you know, he settles an AI from fixed time. Andrew, further to that, like his mother, who was seen the other day, she is, for her age, a female that still is holding a great udder shape, you know, perfect teat still. You know, these are convenience traits that you can't see in an EBV. You've got to know that she was bred to be like that. She's still holding that at a 9-year-old cow. We won't use an animal unless it's out of a good cow.
Thanks for tuning in again to the Angus Australia Spring Bull Night for 2024. As usual, like and share our social media pages, or if you'd like to know any more information about any of the bulls, feel free to give any one of us a call anytime. We'll see you next year.
G'day everyone, my name's James Campkin-Smith.
I'm Kim Hodder.
And I'm Fletch Kelly.
Tonight we'd like to welcome you to the Angus Australia Spring Bull Night. We are ABS Beef Team, and we're really excited to present to you some of the best bulls out of the US and throughout Australia.
So sit back, relax and enjoy the show. Our first bull this evening really doesn't need much introduction at all. In fact, we've seen big demand for him over the last 6 months. It is, of course, Dunoon Sunstone S378, the top selling bull from the 2023 Autumn Dunoon sale, who sold to Ben Nevis Angus. To me, Sunstone epitomises the ultimate Angus bull. He is just so complete. In terms of that golden triangle of pedigree, red-hot performance starter, and phenotype and structure to boot, Sunstone just has it all in spades, and I can't wait to see the contribution he makes to Australian herds over the next 5 years. Phenotypically, Sunstone is a long-bodied, beautifully balanced bull with that immaculate structure that we've come to know and love from the Dunoon Angus program. He is clean-fronted, strong-topped with excellent tailhead placement. He's smooth through the shoulder and displays excellent fleshing and depth down through his flank and into the hams. And this is all wrapped up in a frame score 6.5 package. You can see him here as a youngster. Sunstone is as smooth as a cat and he's as quiet as a Labrador. If that doesn't excite you enough, now take a look at his data. Huge calving ease, low birth, great growth, fantastic docility, adequate milk. Now take a look at his carcass attributes. A whopping 12.7 EMA, positive ribbon rump, good carcass weight, 4.5 for IMF. What more could you really want? Well, structurally, he is superb as well. Not just in the flesh, but also take a look at his structural EBVs. Sunstone will arguably be our headline bull this spring. We've seen huge demand over the last 6 months, and we will for the next 12 months. If you'd like to use Sunstone, please make sure you get your orders in early so we can avoid disappointment.
Kicking off this evening, we've got 3 absolute ripper bulls out of the US. Our sire acquisition team, headed by Ben Lohman, take a skin in the game approach when purchasing bulls, and we're so excited to launch some of these animals here in Australia. To start, we've got Oak Hollow Hallmark. Beautifully balanced and easy on the eye. Hallmark shows muscle and softness and just captures your attention. His pedigree is watertight, with the best of Knollcrest Farm well established on both sides. He is the #1 bull in the shed in ABS Wisconsin for maternal index. A draw card on Hallmark, which we don't speak about enough, is the udder quality stacked on both sides of his pedigree. He will breed longevity in his daughters. Deep-bodied, big testicle bull with early masculinity, who's been a standout in his contemporary group on paper and on the hoof. He offers calving ease and rapid early growth. Hallmark's outcross pedigree, data and phenotype makes him an ideal heifer mating option for the spring of 2024, and he epitomises the modern Angus animal. Next up, we've got Woodhill Comstock. What an absolute excitement machine Comstock is. He really climbs to the top and shouts about how good the Angus breed really is. He's just so thick, deep and wide. He's built like an absolute truck. He's got the barrel shape, nice and low to the ground, with a great hind quarter and powerful front. But on top of this, you can throw him over your heifers. He was only a 35 kilo calf. He's elite for calving ease, low birth, top 10% 200 day and 400 day growth. He will grow like a weed, and the cherry on top is his low mature cow weight of only 92. Comstock has huge milk, solid docility and scrotal, and backs it all up with moderate rib and rump and top 1% eye muscle area with a top 15% intramuscular fat EBV. Personally, I love to see Spring Cove Ranch in a pedigree. They run their cattle hard in saltbush country in Idaho, and Comstock's sire Reno is one of the best bulls they've bred. What an absolute beauty. Comstock is also available in sexed male and sexed female Sexcel product. What a great opportunity to breed your best from your best. Also in Sexcel, we have the opportunity for you to buy sexed male and sexed female in some of the best Angus bulls out of the US. Patriarch, Stella, True North, Comstock.
When it comes to young bulls, it really doesn't get much better than Millamurra Trigger T308, the $180,000 yearling bull who sold at last year's Millamurra Angus sale. Shortly after the sale last year, we released this photo, and it pretty much broke the internet. And it's not hard to see why. If you look at him here, you'd think, yeah, he's a pretty darn good bull. But to think that he's only 14 months of age in this photo is simply remarkable. The weight for age in this youngster is just superb, and it's been awesome to see how he's developed out over the last 12 months. He displays beautiful bulging soft skin over his loin, along his top line, and he just has so much fill from hip to pin, down through the hams all the way to the hock. He's deep, thick, square and wide from every angle, structurally immaculate, and I can't wait to see his daughters. They are going to be just superb. Take a look at his data. Such a usable set of data for any Angus operation. Good calving ease, low birth with growth, big EMA, and structurally sound. Trigger is the ultimate bull in terms of performance, maternal pedigree, and sheer grunt for any Angus operation.
Yon Family Farms, based in Spring Ridge, USA, believe in raising high quality, functional cattle for practical environments. We are fortunate to bring you Yon Southern Strong H634. Looking over his EPDs, he offers calving ease, low birth weight with maternal traits. He ticks the box for docility, he has hair shedding ability, and has scrotal, with recent inspections from our colleagues in the US confirming his foot score EPDs with his claw in the top 10%. He is positive for fats, and he is in the top 10% for marbling and ribeye area. His sire, Bub Southern Charm AA31, left his mark both here and in New Zealand, producing thick, strong, maternal, moderate frame progeny. Semen has arrived and is available now to be used.
Next up, we've got Basin Jamison. We took one look at this bull and just knew we had to bring him out to Australia earlier this year. He is the $600,000 US record-setting sire and the most unique bull ever produced at Basin Angus. Jamison is a proven sire in the US now, with heifers entering production, and reports from our team is very, very positive. He's long-bodied, strong across the top, deep in the rib, and importantly has correct foot and leg structure. Jamison has absolutely elite growth. He is in the top 1% of the Angus breed for 200-day weight, 400-day weight and 600-day weight. And paired up with this, he is a plus 4.1 for IMF. And take a look at the structural data on him. What a bull.
And now for a bull that's a little bit different to a lot of the sire lines and a lot of the bloodlines we've seen in recent years in Australia. This is a bull that is setting the USA on fire in terms of his data and phenotype as well. He's a new bull to ABS and his name is Cigar Promotion. There's been a lot of interest from here and across the ditch in New Zealand for us to bring this bull out. On his EPDs, he is red hot. Big calving ease, huge growth, and carcass attributes through the roof. Structurally sound, pretty much every trait and index over there in the US, he excels for. We've had him registered here in Australia too. Promotion's EBVs are really elite too. Calving ease, low birth, adequate growth, moderate mature cow weight, and really handy in the structure and carcass department. Not only does he have red hot data, but phenotypically, he's really pleasing as well. He's a long-bodied bull, plenty of muscle, structurally, in terms of the bull's feet and leg setup, he's sound, and he's as quiet as a mouse. We're really looking forward to bringing Promotion to you this spring. He offers breeders something a little bit different in terms of pedigree, with a really nice data profile. I can't wait to see the young sons getting around in Australia in a year or two's time.
Back on home soil, we are fortunate to have amazing breeders here in Australia. You could be excused if you find yourself dancing in the dark when you take a look over Murderduke Springsteen S131. With Reality, Krakatoa and Emperor in his pedigree, you just know you're going to get power and phenotype. Springsteen has real presence for a carcass bull. He has muscle with grunt. He's a quality bull with docility, positive fats, EMA over 7 and IMF over 5. He's a low birth weight bull with negative gestation and days to calving, with heifers already calved down with increased IMF. While this gun isn't for hire, you don't have to wait to see him in your dreams. We have semen available now.
Thanks so much for tuning in to the Angus Australia Spring Bull Night.
Thank you very much to Angus Australia for putting on another fantastic show this evening.
And if you need any further information, please give James, Fletcher and myself a call.
Well, hello, I'm Scott Wright, the CEO of Angus Australia. It gives me great pleasure to be here this morning to announce that Zoetis are coming on board as a prestige partner for our World Angus Forum program, particularly the Live Cattle Expo and the pre-tour leading up to the Expo in Tamworth in May 2025. It's great to have good partners. We've had a long-standing relationship with Zoetis through our genomic business, through their genomic products, but it's great to have the animal health team come on board with their Immune Ready program, and they'll be working with our members to make sure that every animal that attends Tamworth is vaccinated and ready to go and is safe and compliant. Andrew, I just want to say thank you for coming on board as a prestige partner.
Thanks, Scott.
The World Forum will have over 1,000 people attending from 26 Angus producing countries around the world. They'll be coming for the first time in 25 years to celebrate Angus in Australia. Great opportunity to promote our Angus breeding herd to the worldwide audience. Great export potential for genetics. Domestically, great opportunity to showcase the breed and have commercial producers come along and see what we're doing at Angus Australia in our seed stock business. So great to have you on board, Andrew.
No, we're absolutely blessed to be on board. I think it's a great partnership that we've had for a long time, as you said, from the genomic side of our business right through now to the animal health. You just pointed out that Angus is a global breed. There's going to be people from across the world coming to this event. So Zoetis is a global brand as well, and you know, we're the market leader in Australia as well. So we want to promote that. We want to promote those good health outcomes for the animals, and make sure that, you know, the genetics that, you know, the breed like Angus really focus on doing what they're supposed to do. So really, really happy to be on board with this.
Thanks, Andrew. And thanks, Zoetis, for being such an important partner. It allows us to put on a great event and to do things better and bigger. And we're looking forward to particularly the Live Cattle Expo in Tamworth and the partnership. Thanks very much. So, Daniel, thank you.
Thank you, Scott.
Daniel's the genetics manager for Australia and New Zealand. Thanks for coming on board as a partner.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you, Scott. Look, we really appreciate the partnership. We've been working with Angus Australia for many years on the genomic evaluation through HD50K for Angus. This partnership even strengthens that relationship further because we realise it's only not just genomic evaluation that drives performance for your membership, it's actually strong protocols around animal health. So we're really looking at emphasising that and our corporate strategy of predicting, preventing and treating of cattle through incorporation of HD50K for Angus, as well as the animal health products that align to the National Immune Ready guidelines to really drive performance. So that's going to be a real focus of ours at the live cattle event to demonstrate best practice technique in animal health, as well as really utilising genomic evaluations to really drive performance. So thank you, Scott. Thank you, Angus Australia. Look, we really appreciate it. The next 12 months is going to be a real ride leading up to the event, and we're really looking forward to it.
No, thank you, Daniel. It's great. A two-pronged approach is the genomics to help us breed better Angus cattle and the animal health to help maximise performance in the paddock. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
G'day everyone and welcome to the Spring Angus Bull Night for Breeder Genetics for 2024. We've been really busy in the last 6 months. It's been so great to catch up with so many of you and look at some great cattle across the country and across the globe. We've had lots of great learnings over the last little while and it's been really great. This autumn we introduced our largest lineup of new bulls with 6 new bulls coming into the fray. It's our largest edition yet, and tonight we're going to run through those 6 bulls plus a few others at the end to focus on. So without further ado, let's get into it. The first bull to talk about tonight is a household name, Dunoon Prime Minister P758. Prime Minister was the highest selling Angus bull in 2020, making $140,000 at Dunoon sale in the spring. Prime Minister's now a proven bull. We expect to have a lot of performance. He's known for thickness, growth, docility and structural soundness. Probably the highlight of Prime Minister now is the progeny success we're seeing. First progeny have now been sold in the last few years. They've been topping sales across the country. It's a great avenue to get into some really proven genetics. Another great benefit of Prime Minister is the daughters. They're really clean-fronted, well-formed udders, and we expect to see a bit of power and performance in these females moving forward. I think that could be the best we see of Prime Ministers in his daughters. He's very well proven now with over 1,600 head of progeny on the database. That includes nearly 600 ultrasounds and over 300 structural data coming in on progeny. It presents an awesome opportunity to get into a really well-proven, well-described package. The data is very proven. Have a good look at Prime Minister if you haven't already used him. The next bull we're going to roll into is Circle 8 Shenanigans S654. At last, the paratrooper we've all been searching for. He combines birth to grey spread, scrotal, docility, carcass quality and structure. Phenotypically, he looks awesome. Heaps of red meat in a B- muscle pattern, softness, exceptional skin and hair type. A bull I think that's going to add a lot of red meat and overall muscle shape and thickness. We then look at the other side of the coin, the maternal strength behind this bull. Dam N117 is really what we might consider an ideal Angus cow, combining body length and power with an excellent foot structure and overall udder design. Her first natural calf sold for $55,000 to Macca's, while her initial 7 offspring sold to an average of $28,000. Furthermore, a full sister to N117 achieved the Australian record for a yearling heifer at auction, receiving $140,000, with a set of 8 full sisters averaging just over $30,000. Grandmother and great-grandmother are still active in the herd with calves at foot as L and H cows, so expect a little bit of longevity to come out of Shenanigans as well. A significant stride forward in the paratrooper lineage, merging phenotype, maternal power and dartle into a single package. If you haven't used paratrooper yet or been down that line, this is probably the bull you've been looking for. The next bull is going to be the first US bull of this evening, Deep Creek Legitimate 2003. A bull that has extreme length, depth of flank, chest floor and a great foot structure. A powerful bull that's going to bring in a lot of kilos at weaning. Note the overall growth data on this bull really ranks him at the top of the breed. Legitimate's dam is a beautiful 5-year-old that is easy keeping, broody, nice uddered and has really developed into a really attractive cow and a female that I think we can all really appreciate. Grand Dam and Great Grand Dam are both pathfinders in the American system, each having 10 calves on record. Really strong longevity, fertility in this cow line and overall family. Want to read you a quote from TJ Gabriel that is at Deep Creek Angus Ranch in South Dakota. This is his quote. "From the time he hit the ground, we knew he had the potential to be great. He rose to the top and earned Lot 1 status, where he sold for $105,000 as our sale topper, with Progressive Cattlemen winning the bid and as well as contending bidders. His first calves are on the ground in the US and are showing great promise. We're excited about what this bull will be able to do for you if you're chasing power with cattle with those extra kgs on the ground and really strong maternal lines. If you're looking for a little outcross pedigree, Deep Creek Legitimate's going to be the bull for you." Back to an Australian bull now that topped the spring sales last year for Dunoon. That is Dunoon Data Plus S603. Selling last year for $125,000 to Spry's Angus and Cottage Creek Angus, this bull gives us exceptional structural integrity, softness, docility, and ability to promote calving ease while maintaining a balanced, modern growth curve with that marbling. Data Plus scored perfect fives in the front and raw claw shape with a 46cm scrotal. Out of a 2-year-old heifer, Dam Q226 is a clean-fronted, square-made, big-hipped, good-hearted female that has risen to the top of the Q draft of females at Dunoon. She comes in from the esteemed Princess cow family, going back to the matriarch that is Dunoon Princess X9, best known for her influential size and top-selling bulls. Data Plus is going to give us a really great growth option if you're looking for fertility, softness, bit of marbling, and overall a great bull to hook into a big line of heifers. Staying on the Aussie theme, the next one we're going to talk about is Nola Superior S44. Rock solid structure here again, exceptional temperament, and really unmatched in those profit-driving traits. Dam Q69 is a donor, and Grand Dam is the dam of the So-Right bull that sold for $190,000. And this bull also pulls in 5 generation of donor cows. Really strong overall maternal power coming into this bull from that designer cow family that we're all getting to know and love. Phenotypically, really rock solid. Structure, claw shape, heel design, combined with exceptional temperament, and you've got to really admire him for a beautiful skin and hair type. For those who used a bit of nobleman and are left wanting that little bit more, here's your chance. We probably haven't seen the best of S44 yet. His weaned 12-month-old calves are really looking impressive and starting to turn a few heads. People that have used the bull are certainly going back in to use more. We've seen a lot of uptake in the commercial side of things. If you haven't used S44 yet, I still think there's plenty of opportunity to do so. Really like what this bull's putting on the ground. The final new bull I'm going to talk to you about tonight is Baldridge Balance. Balance sold for $45,000 in the 2022 Baldridge sale, where Baldridge actually then went and bought a half share back in the bull. His dam, EO48, had 4 of the 6 high top sellers in that sale. Balance is a massive, deep-bodied, square-hipped, with strong maternal lines and end product merit. And, geez, you've got to look at that data set. And I challenge you to find a US bull with that balanced and impressive data set. He was hip-heighted as a yearling and came in at a 6.4 frame. So, arguably, that's a little bit big for some of our American friends. But I think for us, that's spot on. I want to just mention the docility here on Balance. With progeny now coming into the US system, he's maintained a top 10% with 24 head of progeny recorded. Probably what's more noteworthy is that his sire is in the top 20% with well over 300 head of progeny recorded. Dam is in the top 1% with a handful of progeny, and Grand Dam Isabel Y69 is in the top 3% with 125 progeny recorded. Balance has had docility recorded himself and his maternal line, all scoring 1s there for docility. Look, Balance stands as a really key tool for achieving balanced breeding objectives. Look, his name is Balance, he's balanced by nature. I think as we move forward, this is a bull that's going to be able to add a lot of phenotype, a bit bigger framed bull than what we've seen out of the US, and also a very impressive overall data set. Now we're going to talk through a few of the bulls that are already in the lineup that aren't necessarily new, but we're just going to brush over them quickly and try and give you a few updates on how they're going. The first bull we're going to do that with tonight is Keneally Waymaker. Waymaker has a really comprehensive trait. He's going to add functionality, muscle, overall thickness, length, softness, docility, and a really good sound structure. Waymaker was the high ratioing bull a couple of years ago that sold at Keneally's. The dam of Waymaker is a really functional female with an excellent udder and the type of cow we'd all like to have in the front paddock breeding us a few bulls. With the first group of bulls selling already at Keneally's, they were received really well and one of the high averaging sire groups. The first calves are here on the ground in Australia and we've heard really strong calving reports on him. We've had a lot of people come back and buy more semen off the back of first calves. Look, if you haven't used Waymaker yet, I definitely don't think it's too late. Probably a bull that I think's probably been missed by some. I think you should be having a good look at him. Look, with an outcross pedigree, the performance to match, Waymaker's definitely not one that you want to miss. Back into an Aussie bull now that's been taking the world by storm, and that is Nolosaurite S48. Tremendous amount of spring of rib and depth, overall muscle shape, great freedom of movement, a bull that really takes your eye when you go and look at him. Really strong maternal line, great grandson of the great designer V96, known for longevity, outstanding cow family behind this bull. His first calves are now 12 months old and they're really turning heads and we're getting exceptional reports from his calves across the country. First handful of bulls will be selling this spring, so I encourage you to go and have a look at them wherever you can find them. His data's come through really strong now. He's nearly got 700 head of progeny on Angus Australia. 250 head are recorded now for docility, and he's maintaining really strong there. He's also now over a 4 for IMF, and that's off the back of about nearly 40 head of progeny recorded as well. Look, if you haven't used Saurite yet, now is the time to jump in. He really is a complete package, exceptional temperament, cow power and a data set. I really don't think it's too late to use this bull just yet. I encourage you to go and look at the bull where you can. Next into a US bull, Hoover About It. This is a calving ease, low birth weight Hoover No Doubt son. We've always liked Hoover No Doubt for the extra power and performance he brings to the table, but we're just always looking for that calving ease, low birth son that we could use in a heifer mating options, and About It's the only bull that we've been able to find that can do that. He still brings all that power and muscle shape and thickness we expect to see from About It, but he then brings in arguably one of the strongest cow families in North America, that is the Ericas. If you know anything about the Hoover program, you know N54, you know G366, you know the power that stands in behind this bull, and to me, that's the strength of this bull, is the cow power that stands behind him. Overall balanced data set. He's an attractive, smooth-made bull that is long, big-hipped, and has a lot of muscle you'd expect from the No Doubts. The final bull I want to talk to you about tonight is Baldridge Versatile. He's a long, deep-bodied, free-moving bull that gives us a really smooth, clean front end with a lot of strength and overall sire appeal. I want to draw your attention to his docility and how that's been changing. He's in the top 1% at a plus 53. Now, when you search the database, with his level of accuracy, that is now well over 90%, he's actually ranked 4th in the entire breed across all animals. So I think we can be really confident in how this bull's going to perform docility. If you want to use a high docility bull, this is the man. His first sons sell in Australia this spring. They're long-bodied, heavy, clean-fronted, and very stylish. Look, if you're looking for a bull that's going to add some calving ease, low birth, growth, and weight, that are very docile with calving ease and a lot of marbling, Versatile's going to do that for you, hands down, no questions asked. Look, that's the wrap from us tonight. I just want to firstly say thanks to Angus Australia for once again putting on this great event. The Spring 2024 Semen Sire Directory is now available. If you scan this QR code, it's got lots of information in it, including the research EBVs, MSA marbling, condition and hip height for those mature cows. I think there's some traits we need to start paying attention to. The website's got a lot more information of videos and progeny, and we try and keep that up to date with new information as much as we can. If you're regular to following what we're up to, you'll be quite acutely aware that we do have a podcast going with Sam Parrish, the Breeder Exchange. Again, if you're wanting more information, that's a great way to get some more information, but additionally some industry insights into some guests we have there. Scan this QR code and it'll take you through to those pages. Please get in touch. We're happy to share as much information as we can to make sure you make the most informed breeding decision you can, whether it's with or without one of our bulls. I think that's still a positive outcome. Look, good luck to all the upcoming sales, and thank you so much for watching tonight. I look forward to catching up with you all soon. Cheers.
Well, g'day everyone, and thank you for joining us for the 2024 Angus Australia Spring Bull Night. Genetics Australia is pleased to be returning to your screens this spring, and we have a high calibre lineup of bulls for your consideration. It's great to see the season and markets return to a positive outlook, and we are certainly looking forward to a busy season ahead. The last 12 months for Genetics Australia has seen a significant run of domestic bull acquisitions, headlined by Allendale True Blue, Texas Top Shelf, and Ben Nevis Tribune. We've also built on our partnership with our US partners Genex, bringing you some of the best size globally, including Schieferblind Top Gun and Peak Stapleton. Tonight we're also bringing you a couple of brand new exciting sires who we think are going to light it up this spring. Here is the Genetics Australia lineup of Angus bulls for spring 2024. Texas Iceman R725. Iceman has established himself as one of the great sires in the industry, breeding sale toppers in regions all across Australia. He has seen enormous use across both seed stock and commercial breeders, and stamps his progeny with a type that stands out in the paddock and in the yards. His calves display incredible top lines and easy fleshing ability, with beautiful temperament and that strong head. What breeders are seeing across the country is backed up by his elite figures, with docility, EMA, rib and rump fat all in the top 10% of the breed. Iceman has been popular in Europe and has seen high use of male sex semen, while the female sex semen has sold out completely. With Iceman returning to natural duties in the hills of Gloucester, semen is available but limited.
Baldridge Goalkeeper is proving himself as one of Australia's top high-demand sires. Goalkeeper's sons have gone on to top sales and make their way into semen catalogues in both Australia and the United States, but nothing is quite like the original. Goalkeeper offers big growth, scrotal size, docility, feed efficiency, excellent structure, and loads of muscle. It's no wonder Australian producers can't get enough of this bull. So let's go over to Nick Moyle from Pathfinder Angus to find out why they have used Goalkeeper in their breeding program and how the progeny are performing.
We've been following the Isabel Y69 female line, and she's been absolutely outstanding on structure, docility, and birth to growth spread. So that was the first attraction to him, and then his structure in his muscle shape and his scrotal is outstanding. So and the docility is something our clients are really looking for, and he excels in all those. So he was just a very easy choice for us.
Schieferblind Top Gun is probably my favourite bull to have joined the Genetics Australia lineup in spring of 2023 from our partners Genex in the United States. Top Gun has huge potential to produce the next generation of stud sires here in Australia, and we can't wait to see how his progeny perform. Top Gun offers the complete package, show-stopping phenotype and breed-leading performance data. Use him to add frame and weight, shorten gestation length, and improve structure. Let's hear more from Cody Sankey, Senior Director of Beef Programs at Genex, about this cow bull to produce cows.
Top Gun is one of the rising stars in our Genex lineup. No surprise, the popularity in Australia. We've seen the same popularity in the United States of a bull that will add pounds and power to any calf crop, going to put body and muscle shape in those calves. The unique thing about this bull, when we look at him from an American database perspective, is the things that he blends together with growth. He adds that in with heifer pregnancy, foot quality, and marbling. on his index power for dollar maternal and dollar combined. Very few bulls in the breed can rank in top 10% for all those traits. Then you study him and you add in his, some of the other things that go along with that, with ribeye size and all that. It gets to be very important to look at that from a data perspective. That bull's pedigree is one very unique, a little different on the bottom side. His grandmother is a Pathfinder cow. He's out of a really good showman daughter back to a Bismarck 5175, and so, you know, tried and true Gen X pedigrees on that bottom side that made people a lot of great cows. And so the future is bright for Top Gun when we look at him. The first calf's just now on the ground there in the States. So we'll know more about him as the year goes on and we see what those calves do. But right now, all signs point to very exciting times for Top Gun.
Allendale True Blue T325. True Blue was brand new this autumn and is as genuine as they come. He was the best bull we saw during the Victorian and South Australian Southern Beef Week at the start of the year, and once we inspected him near Bordertown, we knew we had to get him onto the catalogue. Just look at this spread of figures. He is in the top 25% of the breed for 15 different traits, including birth weight, growth, docility, carcass weight, EMA and IMF. He is also well above average for mature cow condition and well below average for mature cow height, suggesting he will produce moderate, easy doing and productive females. He is approved by Greenham for their dairy beef program and uniquely combines top 3% net feed intake and top 8% IMF. True Blue has been collecting well, but is only just keeping up with demand. We are working through back orders as quickly as we can. Please order early for True Blue. Texas Top Shelf T301. Top Shelf, in my opinion, is one of the most underrated bulls on the market. He has amazing muscle and shape with a wide stance and a strong top line. He combines this with insane curve bending figures from 2.8 for birth weight out to 151 for 600-day growth. The mature cow height RBVs of his parents suggest he will also produce moderate frame females, but with serious weight and dimension. He is a moderate, thick and well-muscled bull and is super easy doing, holding his condition well despite smashing out thousands of units during collection in the southwest Victorian winter. Calving ease, growth, docility and carcass merit are all ticks. For me, Top Shelf is better than his sire and one of the best rawhide sons on the market. Ben Nevis Tribune T302. Tribune is the first of a newer run of Angus sires and comes to the fore with real sire appeal and maternal power in the pedigree, tracing back to a long line of sale toppers at the renowned Ben Nevis Angus program, including Rambo, Newsflash and Gene H215. Tribune is a genuine all-rounder, with almost all traits on the right side of the graph. As a result, Tribune offers such versatility in his breeding options and is well suited to be blanket mated over large groups of commercial Angus heifers. A bull to produce magnificent females and not lose anything in growth or carcass. Tribune is an excellent semen producer and has collected large volumes in a short amount of time after being used naturally as a yearling and now going back into joining for this spring. Therefore, semen availability is good but limited. Wrigley Supreme S2. Supreme is in a whole league of his own when you consider his multi-trait excellence and index values at the very top of the breed. This is what enticed my family at Chicora Angus to purchase him, as we just could not get enough of his spread of performance figures. He goes from 2.3 birth weight to 140 600-day weight, 95 mature cow weight, and 4.8 IMF. This elite performance across multiple traits has earned him the highest $A index of any HBR male. But what we were most impressed about when inspecting him on different occasions was his conformation and how well he held his weight as the heaviest bull in the Wrigley Cattle Company 2023 bull sale. Check out this video of him just as we let him out of the yards after a long ride in the truck. You get a good look at the pastern angle and heel depth on the hard granite road, and check out his perfect tracking as he strides out. He has been used heavily at Shikorodaloo with 33 registered calves and many more on the ground this winter. He has been used across seed stock and commercial breeders, as well as going over to New Zealand. I think this is a bull that everyone should check out pretty closely for the genetic merit that he offers.
A new young sire joining the GA lineup for Spring 2024 is Peak Stapleton. Stapleton is sired by SG Salvation and out of a high-selling Gardner Ashland daughter. Stapleton is a young, exciting sire who will improve carcass quality. We first announced this bull back at Beef 2024 in Rockhampton, so let's go to Cody Sankey to see what he says about this exciting young bull.
Peak Stapleton, one of the first bulls to come out of the Peak breeding program there, but a bull, the Salvation son, out of the good Ashland donor cow that we have. Probably one of the things that makes Stapleton unique amongst the Salvation sons out there on the market is his combination of calving ease and growth and in-product merit. Not many Salvation sons are true calving ease, and we look at his CED and birth weight. It sets him apart from the rest of the group. And then we look at him, he still maintains that added growth that we find important. Feet and leg structure all looks good. Stapleton has that added muscle shape and body volume. And then you look at him in his terminal traits, marbling, ribeye, carcass weight, those things off the charts for that bull. So, you know, his donor dam, that Ashland, was a high-selling female there in the Gardner sale into the Peak program. Done a tremendous job producing females. The first sister to Stapleton is calved out. Beautiful udder, picture perfect. Teat size and length is just excellent. So if that's any indication of what Stapleton can do, really going to be exciting to see him down the road.
We are super excited to bring this bull to market here in Australia. He's been a high use sire in the United States for the past few years now, and he keeps getting better and better with more progeny that hit the ground. We are proud to announce that S Architect will be joining the Genetics Australia lineup in spring of 2024. If you're looking for a sire that offers calving ease, growth, docility and structure, then Architect is going to be the bull for you. So let's head over to Cody Sankey from Genex and Damien to hear why this bull has been so popular amongst breeders in the United States.
I can tell you it's exciting that you're going to get this bull down here to Australia. He has been our #1 selling bull for 2 years in a row in America, gaining popularity worldwide based off the quality of the calves, the daughters in production, the sons that he's produced that are topping sales around the country. You know, what makes Architect unique is he is a bull that fixes a lot of cows. And I talk about that. He adds body volume and muscle to a lot of cows. He fixes feet and udders, does an excellent job. His daughter's in production. You know, the fun thing about Architect is every time there's a new data run, his data gets better. And you don't always see that in bulls, where usually they start out high and maybe come down. He's one that has gone the other way, which is what we want him to do. We look compared to the day we bought him. His heifer pregnancy's gotten better. His foot scores has gotten better. His dollar maternal's now up around the 100 mark. You know, he just crosses all the barriers and does so many things well. You look at those convenience traits, the fertility traits, the feet and leg traits, docility, hair shed, all those things that are so important. He does so good and so well, and those cattle really grow and perform well. Lots of performance, and they're easy on the eye. You can pick them out in a pen. You walk into a set of multi-sire group pens and you can find the Architects sort to the top pretty well. So it's exciting that you guys are going to get to import him in down here. I think the folks in Australia are going to like the kind of cattle that he produces. I think you'll get a lot of success out of it.
Now, I must admit, when I saw a photo of this bull, I knew we had to have him in the Genetics Australia beef lineup for 2024. This young sire is seriously impressive, and just wait until you see his pedigree and his EBVs to go with it. This is Baldridge Grindstone, sired by DB Iconic, a son of Musgrave 316 Stunner, and out of a donor female sired by Baldridge 38 Special. Grindstone offers a stunning phenotype and great balance, with low birth weight, calving ease, growth, docility, feed efficiency and scrotal size. If there's one bull to keep your eye on, it's Baldridge Grindstone. Let's head to Cody Sankey to hear about why this bull is his favourite acquisition of the 2024 sales season.
Grindstone, one of my favorite new sire acquisitions that we have at Gen X. Brought him in here in January of 2024. The Iconic son out of the famed T220 donor cow at Baldridge's, the Baldridge 38 Special daughter. You know, Grindstone is very unique from a balanced number perspective, offers calving ease with growth. But, you know, his sire, DB Iconic, ranked number 4 in the Angus breed for registrations, and we feel like Grindstone is the next step in that process. He probably improves on a few things of Iconic. We improve the maternal to feet EPD, some of those things that we really like to see in Grindstone. And then he still has that in-product merit. He has the marbling, has the ribeye, and you start to combine those indexes. He's very high for $M, very high for $C. You know, to put that all together with the phenotypic package that Grindstone offers is very hard to find. And so Grindstone, a bull that has those striking good looks. You study him from behind. He's got muscle shape down his top and out of his hip, full of body volume. Really a bull you want to keep your eye on. I can tell you one of the most exciting young sires that we have right now is Grindstone, and so I'd say the folks in Australia getting in early on him would be an advantage.
Well, that's a wrap. Ashley and I are really excited about the lineup of bulls we've presented tonight, and we're certainly looking forward to working with you to find the right bull for your program. If you'd like any further information about the bulls or semen availability, please don't hesitate to get in contact with either Ashley or myself. Thank you and have a great night.
G'day everyone, I'm Jake Phillips. Now you might know me as the Extension Manager at Angus Australia, but I'm excited to share with you that I've joined the team at the World Angus Forum. But I need your help. That's right, we want you for the Zoetis Angus Expo 3rd and 4th of May 2025 in Tamworth. As part of the events for the 2025 Neogen World Angus Forum, a 2-day Angus cattle exhibition will be held here in Tamworth, allowing Angus cattle breeders to display a representation of their herd to the world and to talk beef, bulls and breeding programs until the cows come home. We encourage members to consider displaying bulls, donor cows or up-and-coming heifers as part of their stud display here at the Australian Equine Livestock Exhibition Centre here in Tamworth. We're currently working hard behind the scenes for you to be able to do this in your own unique way to suit your own cattle. This is destined to be the largest gathering of registered Angus cattle ever held in Australia and a chance to showcase your program to the world. There will be sites with pens for unled cattle to suit all exhibitors of cattle and to display their stock to suit their operation and their own unique style. Features of the event include displaying your cattle to the entire domestic and international delegation of visitors, leading to trade opportunities with new customers, 2 sale opportunities including a frozen genetics sale and a physical female sale for exhibitors only, as well as a carload or pen competition for those that are interested in taking part. Considerations are now being finalised to accommodate cattle travelling some distance and stalling arrangements across the precincts housing the unled cattle to showcase the best Australian genetics to the world. The Zoetis Angus Expo can't be missed and will include educational seminars, Australiana social events, an Angus Expo camp draft, the Angus Expo barbecue competition, live music, a cocktail function, 2 elite genetics and female sales and much more. This will also be a great time to see the world youth teams competing for the title during the livestock aspects of the World Angus Forum youth competitions here at ALEC. We also extend an invitation to all Red Angus cattle breeders to display cattle here at ALEC for the opportunity of a lifetime not to be missed, and are currently seeking expressions of interest from all exhibitors of Angus and Red Angus cattle to exhibit here at ALEC, with the option to take more than one site. Please respond to stay up to date as more details are confirmed over the coming weeks and months. And remember, the champion of this event is the Angus cattle we all love. Let's show the world what we have by joining me at the Zoetis Angus Expo, the 3rd and 4th of May 2025. Please reach out to me if you have any questions, and I look forward to working with you to show our cattle off to the world.
Hey, we're rolling into spring 2024, and tonight it's bull night. From Agri-Gene, we're going to cover off some of our latest young AI sires. But what we do each year is we drive around the country and talk to producers from all across Australia and the world and talk about what their demands are from their sires. So what we've done with this team of bulls that you'll see tonight and what you can find in our latest Agri-Gene catalogue, is a team of bulls that we think really fits those demands. So come along for the ride and let's dig into them. We're going to whet your appetite with a bull you haven't even seen yet. But those of you that did join us at Holbrook earlier this month, you might have caught a glimpse of him, a bull called Rennie Lee T17. Pedigree needs no introduction, well-proven bull, but he's a bull by Muginilla Quinella Q33, who's a bull we acquired a few years back, and you'll see he's done his job extremely well, topping at least 2 or 3 sales already this size season, and we're only at the start of August, so you know, yet some more to come from Q33, albeit we are almost out of semen on him. This son is something we think we can really move forward with when he's backed by a cow as deep as the Rennie Lee H414 cow. A cow that we all know, famous sons of, is Rennie Lee L519 and L508, amongst a couple of other daughters there at Rennie Lee that have gone on to produce a couple of sons that have probably gone into studs already. This T17 bull, though, outstanding individual when you look at his heel depth. Gets right up on those heels. You can probably see that in the video. Moves around quite well. A bull that has been used and worked a bit, so hard to get some footage of him just yet, being a young bull. Already done a swag of work there at Rennie Lee and retained in stud this bull at Rennie Lee. So there's more to come from him, no doubt, as the spring rolls on and he gets a bit more nick. You know, we'll post you up some footage as soon as we get it of him that's you know, a more condition you'd like to see, but we have faith in this bull. He's really deep in the twist when you get behind and thick through his thurls. A bull that carries himself really well, a proud sort of a bull. So phenotypically, we think this bull ticks a lot of boxes, and I think you will admire him as well. Just like his sire Q33, they had a lot of muscle and capacity to them. Keeping that mature cow weight in check, of course. This is a young bull. T17 has a good early gestation, calving ease and birth weight that you know, can see him used on heifers. Plenty of growth, huge GMA over 14, and you know, fats are in check there, over 4 marbling. Just a pretty straightforward free kick bull for those guys trying to breed some sons that want to go on and you know, meat and potatoes bulls in those bull sales. So okay, we're up here near sunny Holbrook, and we're just here with Chris Saunders from Precision Breeding. And Chris has just recently come back from New Zealand. There's a couple of New Zealand bulls we needed to cover, and I thought, well, what better way to get a more independent probably view than someone like Chris? So we won't hang around. We'll jump into a bull that had an exclusive on the last couple of years. It was a couple of studs, Millwilla, Millamara, Alpine, and Canamble have all had a bit of an exclusive on this Tamate Roy bull, a New Zealand bred bull that they sort of dived into, and they'll have sons coming up in their sales. But tell us a little bit about the bull, the Tamate Roy bull, Chris, can you?
Yeah, he's a bull that obviously we've been AIing with in a couple of the programs that I'm affiliated with, and we're seeing their first calves obviously being weaned for most of them. The earliest ones are come out for sale in this spring selling season, and those, there's some very positive reports on those cattle. You know, we'd like to, you know, probably not pass too much judgment until these guys, bulls get a little bit more age, but what we're seeing is a bull that's adding a little bit more frame and length than what is stereotyped as a New Zealand bull.
Yeah, right. Yep.
Probably a bull that can handle getting used on some more moderate medium frame cattle, and adding a bit of lift because he does have a bit more frame and length in his pedigree. So,
yeah, and the bull himself, does he represent a bit more frame than you expected when you saw him?
Yeah, I think from the feedback I got when the bull was contracted with these guys is that he was probably a bull that was more moderate in frame and thick in fleshing, and probably what he's done is as the bull's matured, he's continued to stretch out and grow, which has probably meant that what we've seen in the earliest bulls getting sold over there was a bull that was probably more in our breed average frame over here. So I think in time he probably won't be just pigeonholed as a bull just to use on those extreme frame cattle. I think he'll be probably a bull that can be used on those more moderate frame to actually add a little bit of length.
Yeah, and probably brings diversity of pedigree too, and some other traditional things that we expect from New Zealand. Like, tell us about feet, temperament,
hair type?
Yeah, the bull, the whole program over there, they were focused on feet. So we're feeling reasonably comfortable with what we've seen on the bull's feet. The bull moves quite freely, docility. Looked very positive and had a pretty good strong head and muzzle, which what you'd expect if you're going to go down the New Zealand route in breeding.
Yep. And you did see some 2-year-olds over there as well, did you?
Yeah, we saw around about 8 to 10 bulls that were a rising 2-year-old coming into their selling season, and those bulls just sat right in the middle of the sale. They were just good, honest bulls. They were his first actual calf crop natural mate calves, so there was no selective mating. He got used over a pretty broad variety of daughters, as Paul had mentioned to us. So, really the proof's going to be probably more so in the Australian progeny where they were probably selectively mated.
Yeah, excellent. We've got you. We'll grab a couple of other bulls that you saw while you were over there on that trip from Stockman's. A bull we just added into the edge lineup this year, who's seen a bit of use here already, but no calves yet. A bull called Stockman's Stella, a Stella son out of the Stockman's in New Zealand. Yep. What were your thoughts on that bull when you saw him?
Yeah, we were pretty keen to go over and have a look at the bull, just being a Stella son that probably had a little bit more carcass, as in more marbling and good EMA, which is obviously pretty on trend in Australia. And to find a bull that Stella's doing a pretty good job on conformation out here, we thought we'd go and have a look and found a bull that was pretty sure-footed. We were really comfortable with the foot structure on the bull, very typical of what you'd expect to come out of New Zealand. Yep. Docility on the bull himself looked really good. We were fortunate enough to see the bull's dam, and she was a nice free-moving cow, a cow with enough frame. So it definitely she wasn't a small cow. She stood over a lot of ground. If anything, we'd probably want to just tidy her up a little bit through the head. A very superficial trait, but the cow was just a little bit longer headed. So I'd probably recommend, and we saw that in the bull, probably use him on just something with a little bit shorter headed and wider muzzled. Yep. She wasn't narrow muzzled, but just for those guys that probably wanting to a real New Zealand headed cattle, you'd probably aim to use him on something along those lines.
Yeah, okay. Yep. Yeah, right. Well, that's good to know. I mean, it's the bull's a heavy calving ease bull too, and I'd expect to see some more use on heifers, given his performance on paper and maybe what we heard from Stokeman's, really good reports on their calving ease out of their heifers there. Yep. But no, I think there's more to see from that bull. He's got a bit to offer the industry with a good spread of performance and a phenotype that we pretty well like, I think, especially, again, ground level and then showing a bit of shape, you'd have said, the calves.
Yeah, like the female portion especially, you could see a lot of depth of rib. They were nice, well-made heifers, sort of an earlier maturity pattern, which you could see that in the bull himself, and we've seen that in Stella in Australia as well. And again, we're probably looking at this bull as trying to get similar to a Stella, but just a little bit more added carcass performance, and that's probably why we targeted this bull to go and have a look at.
Yeah, good one. Well, while you were there, you saw another bull that we've actually been selling for over 12 months, but and there is some sort of yearling progeny on the ground here now, a bull called Stockman Solution. Tell us a little bit about, I haven't actually had the opportunity to go and look at him yet, but you saw him in the flesh over there as well?
Yeah, we were fortunate enough to see both the dam and the bull, and he was a bull that was tied up by Damien Gommers at Mandain, right. and everyone in Australia in the Angus breed knows Damien's putting together a pretty good battery of stock together, so we were pretty interested to have a look at what he'd bought into, and the bull's dam was super impressive. Nice black cow, heaps of width through the muzzle, stylish cow, a little bit of frame too. Walked on pretty good feet. You could see why he was attracted to the bull physically, and again, resilient, the sire of, as a bull that's getting heavy use, so the performance and output side of Solution also married into what we're looking for. Yep. So the bull was quite impressive. Good amount of length in the bull. Walked on a pretty good foot. The EBVs, the bull's been out here for a while now. Yep. Super calving ease, so there's no point sort of looking at his EBV profile. You can all see that. They were born super small, was the feedback over in New Zealand.
Yep.
So
yep, feedback here much the same. Those calves are born early, and maybe we don't see them at weaning like we should, but they are early and light at birth, like a minus birth weight bull, I think. So guys are telling me, though, once we get past that weaning stage, they're really starting to fire and come on. So there's a lot to like about that bull from that point of view, that, there's going to be weight in them as they get going, and no issues at all at birth. So that's quite good to see. Hair type on the bull?
Yeah, both Solution and Stella didn't notice any excessive hair. It's probably one of those things, we travelling New Zealand, you're looking for it, and you get a bit blind to all the cattle sort of looking a certain type, but hair didn't seem to be an issue. We haven't seen it in either of them, the size of each of those bulls. I've inspected both of those, the size of both bulls recently, and hair's quality seems to be fine.
Yep. And mating flexibility on the Solution bull, like what type of cow you're thinking he fits well on?
Pretty universal. Like I think just with the calving ease, you probably can target a cow with a little bit more power and a little bit more bone, because the flexibility is there on the EBVs to do so, and the calving ease is also there. Again, he looked like his mother. He was a really black-coated bull with a good strong muzzle, quite free moving. So there's options there.
Yeah, no, good one. And I think, with his Carbonates, like he's going to use on heifers, stud and commercial alike, I think, going forward. So that'll be good for the bull. Look, Chris, we thank you for your time. It's been good to have a quick discussion with you, and hopefully there's a bit more rain up here near Holbrook, and we'll be up and about in the spring.
Very good. Thanks, Rob.
Good on you, Chris. So, let's have a look at Mainland T221. When I first started to see the original Landfall Mainland sons around at Weir and Angus, Bull Oak Well and Mandaean, I was like, I've got to have me one of those for our bull team. Little did I know was I going to find one so quick when I went to the keeper pen at Mandaean. So here we are with this bull T221, a bull that Mandaean used and had all the faith in, and they want to keep him and keep using him, which I can see why. When you look at this bull, he's got an awesome top line, absolutely set rock solid top, and that will help a lot of those older pedigrees where we've given up a little bit to get a bit of that, get some other traits that we wanted. We've given up a bit of spine strength. This bull has that in spades. So Mainland, a bull with solid feet. He's thick, he's soft, moves like a cat. Like this bull moves like some of the bulls we haven't had before. So pretty excited what he can offer. If you miss out on maybe that Statesman bull, I think Mainland ticks a lot of those boxes as well. We finally found a few antagonists to the old adage that marbling meant no muscle. This bull's a 3.7 or whatever it might be this week on marbling, yet he's got shape. Get behind him, watch him move, look at him side on. There's muscle from every way you look at this bull. So Mainland's a bull I like, and I think most breeders will like too. He's already had plenty of use already. We've actually got semen made for New Zealand, so he'll go there in the near future. Plenty of semen on deck. He's a great producer, which gives me even more confidence in the bull. Pretty excited about the depth and the pedigree on the dam side of this bull, so no doubt we'll see a lot of Mainland going forward. T221, get amongst him. Now I want to have a little chat about my boy Mandaean Reebok. If you want thickness and grunt and consistency, throw all the other bulls away, get onto Reebok. Aptly named Reebok because he looks after your feet, but this bull has power. A serious grunt bull. You can go looking across all the countries in the world and continents, wherever you like, New Zealand, US, Australia. You won't find a bull with this much muscle, and I don't say that lightly. This bull, if you didn't see him up there at Holbrook a couple of weeks back, you missed out. This bull is an absolute treat. Quiet, great to deal with, does everything you want, to the point where, he barely fits, and he's a hard bull to manage. When he comes out of cows, you've got to put him on a really tight ration to keep the weight off him. But just a massive, massive individual, enough bone thickness, and you don't see that in these heifer bulls. Pretty handy data set too, like performance-wise, there's enough calving ease in this bull use on heifers, enough growth to be competitive with some of those bigger boys in the bull sales, and yet
all the phenotype we want. I get asked about, bulls with power, and that's what sells. Phenotype sells. If you're selling weaner cattle, phenotype sells. If you're selling bulls in bull cells, phenotype sells. If you want a bull with phenotype and muscle shape, thickness, length of body, good feet, good attitude, consistent, Reebok. Now we're going to go to a bull called Paringa Statesman S115. I'm sure you've heard him before, and he's a bit of a personal favourite of mine, but a bull that brings a lot in terms of type, kind, length of body, deep muscle, deep thirl, and gets the job done when it comes to semen fertility. We've had great reports on this bull on getting cows in calf on programs of 10 heifers right to 1,000 heifers or cows. This bull is exceptional semen fertility, and that has led to his demand almost outstripping his supply. Got this bull on your list, make sure you get in quick. Otherwise, maybe have a look at some other bulls like our new bull Mainland that does tick a lot of the same boxes as this fella. Well, that about wraps up for here from the team at Agri-Gene. Just a snapshot of the newer bulls with semen available and ready to go this year. Thought you might be interested in those, and in the essence of time, that's what we've covered. If you want to know more about some other bulls or there's information you're chasing, have a look online, but give us a ring or an email or a text. Happy to talk and chat about bulls and cows for hours. But I think it's important that you get the most information on your bulls that you're using to use on your cows so that we all do better in the future going forward. There's some bulls obviously we didn't cover that are in the catalogue that I think are of interest. Again, shout out, give us a ring, but there's some more proven bulls, I suppose. And also there might be a couple other bulls coming up later in the spring, but keep in touch, keep your eyes peeled for what's happening there at the Agri-Gene space. Pretty proud of the team of bulls we've got. Really like what they offer, and I think they cover a broad range of the Angus industry. Happy to talk to you anytime. Thanks for joining us this evening. Good night.
I think people should come to the World Angus Forum because, in my opinion, Australia has the best Angus in the world, and a one-stop shop to talk Angus with a range of different Angus producers and people all trying to achieve the same target. You couldn't find a better place to do it in Australia.
I think people should come and experience Angus cattle in Australia because I think it showcases the versatility of the breed so well. We've got guys running cattle in the snow right through to the arid deserts. Really, where else in the world can you see that in one place?
Good evening everyone, Cameron Cutler here from Semex Australia and welcome to the 2024 Angus Spring Bull Night, the Semex part. We'll walk you through our current list of bulls, especially Mogul, Taker, Vizina and Tradesman, what we deem at the moment to be our Fab Four. Being the Olympics and being the awesome foursome, these guys will deliver the gold when you use them in your herd. The other bull we'll give you an update on as well is Peak Trust, a new bull with a new video, and it's got a lot of people talking. During the night, as we go through our bulls, we'll give you an update on some specials on volume. So there's a couple of options there, whether you want to take 100 of one bull or a combination of a couple. But we'll be able to walk you through that as the night goes on. And don't hesitate to call us in the following week after this bull night to get those specials. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Pineview Mogul, a bull that offers a lot and is delivering a lot. We've been really excited to get around and visit with clients this year, and whether it be a bull for a bull sale later this year or early next year, the future of the daughters that he's going to bring into production, or the steer progeny getting lined up for weaner sales early next year, he is delivering on everything that we expected he would. The bulls are showing really good overall mass and dimension, with a massive powerful hindquarter and doing so on sound feet and legs. The daughters, we knew were going to be good. How good? We didn't know, but they have been of exceptional quality. Super feminine, super productive looking females. They're going to really add value anywhere that they're in production. Mogul has seen heifer programs and a few programs where it was just the one bull to do the heifer and cows, which is fantastic. A bull that's got a really good birth to growth spread, EMA at 13.6, and he certainly shows that. And a bull that we knew was going to be good for feet and is delivering on that promise. The other exciting prospect to hail out of the Pineview program is Pineview Vizina. Side by a goalkeeper and out of the Musgrave Royal Queen cow, a bull that certainly appeals on pedigree, he appeals on phenotype, and he appeals on performance. Vizina's first progeny here in Australia have certainly got breeders excited about what the potential Vizina will do in their herd. We have heard reports that entire groups of calves have been born before their due date, but whilst doing so have got going and are developing nicely. For those keeping an eye on performance, he's certainly a bull that will hold you in good stead. Good birth to growth spread, EMA in the top 5%, 2.7 IMF, and all those other carcass traits pretty good for a bull of this quality. A bull that probably offers a really good balance of phenotype with performance. Our long-awaited wait to secure a quality Australian bull is over, with Coogin Hills Tradesman coming into the lineup for 2024. A bull that appealed to us on phenotype, on performance, and hailing from the quality Coogin Hills stud in WA. We've been really excited to have him come into our offering. When we were looking for an Australian bull, we wanted more than just a one-trick pony. We really wanted a 5-tools guy. We think we found that with Tradesman. He's a bull that boasts a really good birth to growth spread, 2.5 for birth weight to 148 for 600-day weight, a massive EMA in the top 10%, positive fat, indexes right at the top end of the breed, but does so with a pedigree and a phenotype that we found acceptable to bring into our catalogue. So we're here now with Scott Finlay from Granite Ridge Angus to talk about Coogin Hills Tradesman. Scott, you went after a bull last year in Tradesman. What made you go after a bull like that?
We'd liked the resilient line. We'd been looking for a son. We knew that Chris and the gang over at Coogin Hills, they were some of the first to actually have progeny on the ground. We caught up with Chris at Tamworth last year and had a chat with him, and when genomics came through on that phenotype, it was a no-brainer.
No, we were very happy to sign him early in the year, and he's had good use. He's had good use at Granite Ridge too. He's seen cows. That's 75% of their life there.
Yeah, fresh off the truck and straight in with a mob. He's since done now 2 autumns, a spring, and getting ready now to go out for his 4th joining.
Yeah, and he's made good semen in that type too, which
he
is
has. He's
always pleasant.
Been collecting pretty well. Good, honest bull. Just good all rounder.
Delivering the goods.
Yep.
And you're happy for people to come and have a look at him?
Anyone wants to come have a look, no problems at all.
And people that have seen him have enjoyed looking at him.
That's it. That's the one.
Yep. No, we're very happy to have him, and we're grateful for the opportunity.
Beautiful, Cam.
And you won't have to do any more bull nights after this.
Thank you.
LVVF Tanker was a bull that created a lot of interest here in Australia when he first sold in North America a few years back. He reaffirmed this interest just before Christmas last year when we released some new pictures of the bull. The days following that release, our phones rang red hot and we sold a fair bit of Tanker, with the first progeny really starting to hit the ground now, and breeders are very, very pleased with what they see. A bull that's got a lot of mass and dimension, carries a lot of weight, but does so on sound feet and legs. Tanker, performance-wise, adds a lot as well, as a low birth weight option and a massive 600-day weight. He's a bull that will also add some EMA, but phenotypically he's a bull that's going to add a lot of eye appeal to anyone's stud or commercial herds. We've recently had a report as well on his EPDs in North America, where his calving ease went from 4 to 9, his birth weight halved from 1.7 to 0.8, and his yearling weight held firm at 165. And that's with over 200 progeny recorded, so hopefully we'll see a transfer of that data into the Australian data as well, which will firm his position as a low birth, high growth bull with a really good phenotype. Hailing from the Peak Dot program comes Peak Dot Trust, a bull we brought in a few years ago for a few discerning breeders in New South Wales, but recently, upon releasing his new video, created new interest in the bull, and therefore we bring him to you again tonight. Peak Dot Trust is a bull that just shows great quality, mass, dimension, and the ability to move like a cat. Certainly is what appealed to the original guys that used the bull and why people are looking to use him again now. Peak Dot Trust is an order-only bull and is only available in minimum 25 dose goblets. So if you would like to use this bull in the spring or early next year, we suggest you get your order in early to avoid disappointment. At Semex this spring, we are running some special pricing on the 4 main bulls discussed here tonight, and they're all based on 50 dose orders. However, in the week following this event until the 4th of September, if you'd like to purchase 100 or more doses of any of the bulls listed here tonight, we'll give you a further 10% off your order. If you have any further questions about this, don't be afraid to reach out to myself or your local Semex area manager.
Thanks everyone for taking the time to observe our bulls in this 2024 Angus Australia Spring Bull Night. Don't forget those specials, valid for 1 week from tonight, so that'll be the 4th of September. And don't be afraid to contact us, and we're happy to talk to you about any of those bulls and any of the combinations you'd like to make up those 100 doses. We'd like to thank everyone who's participated in putting our part of this bull night together, and we hope that everyone enjoys the rest of the night. Thank you.
Nick and Sarah Moyle from Pathfinder Angus, and this is
Jack.
Little Jack. We run around 2,000 registered cows, sell around 500 bulls a year. We spread over properties in South Australia and Victoria, and we also have a sale in Queensland. Angus has got a massive gene pool with a lot of progressive breeders in it, and so as a group we can really progress the beef industry through genetics, and the Angus have got fertility, growth, carcass qualities that combination is hard to come by in any other breed. We've got progressive breeders and a great gene pool here, and we've been focusing on structure and docility in the Australian Angus, and so it sets people up for longevity, and I think that's where Australia features in the world population, is that we are the leaders in longevity in cattle, so delegates would certainly find our genetics very interesting. We look forward to seeing everyone in Australia in 2025 to look at some fantastic cattle and have a great time.
Welcome everybody to the worldwide size edition of the Angus Australia Spring Bull Night. We're coming to you from the Global Centre of Select Size in Plain City, Ohio, and I'm joined tonight by Ryan Bodenhausen and Brian House.
We might kick it off tonight with probably one of the most exciting bulls of the spring sales last year in Texas, Thunderstruck. The all-time record price bull of any breed ever sold in Australia. 11 months old when he was sold, still a baby, but created so much interest all around the country. Elite maternal pedigree, a new photo's just come out, and he has really grown out into a bull. You know, he's got some hind quarter, he's got some top. He's a big frame bull, he's probably a 7 frame bull. Elite EMA, really good feet when you put him up on the concrete. His feet are actually really nicely made. Really pleased that we could get involved with this bull with our partners in Macca's. I think a bull that's, started off as a really young bull, but I think a bull that's going to really build, as the season rolls on. So
the next bull we're going to talk about is Craftsman, and Brian, you're going to lead us off with that.
Yep.
It's basically to follow along with what you just did with Thunderstruck. When a bull sells for a lot of money, Dale, it creates a lot of excitement.
Yep.
And this bull, I guess one of the things I would like to say on this bull's behalf, the expectations are set high when the bull brings a lot of money.
Yep.
This bull has met those expectations, and that's a great thing. So this is a resilient son that came out of the Keneally program 3 years ago. We were fortunate enough to get the bull. He's been a very steady semen producer, but more importantly, people really like the cattle. And so his data says he can do lots of things. So that's why we like bulls like this, because they can do lots of things. But the maternal piece of this bull is really strong. He would be basically one of the highest bulls that we offer for dollar maternal. And he also brings those other traits that are part of dollar maternal along, the claw and angle, the heifer pregnancy, those type of traits. But I think our customer satisfaction rating on this bull keeps going up. People like them, they sell well, they look good, they perform well. There's not much downside at all with Craftsman at this point.
Yeah, and sex semen, we've had a lot of inquiry on this bull on sex semen, so that maternal side of the things that you're talking about, people clearly want to inject some of that into their program. So,
Yep. Yeah, and no, I think the one other thing to add that you kind of nailed it, Brian, that the consistency in phenotype is what really got people excited. Like, you know what you're going to get. I mean, these cattle have some real muscle, some real shape to them, some performance, and some real eye appeal, and he kind of stamps a consistent kind.
Yep.
So Dale, you're going to hit the next bull, another Australian bull in teleporter.
Yeah, and another high-priced and high-profile bull that sold last year. Again, really pleased that we could get involved in this bull. Out of the KO program, by Hometown, very well-known pedigree here at Select Sires. Out of a New Zealand-bred dam. The dam, I would say, would be what I would call almost a perfect Angus cow. You know, perfect-footed, moderate frame, just a beautiful, beautiful made cow. So when we inspected this bull, you know, he just hit every base. He's got big scrotal, you know, perfect feet, hugely docile. Been inspected by a lot of cattle people from around the globe, and you know, he's just balanced across the board. His data set for foot is elite. I've actually had breeders ring me up and go, are his feet actually as good as what his data says? You know, and they really are. They really are. He ticks every box. We expect to see a heavy use on this bull this spring.
Yeah, and Brian follows the numbers, but Hometown's going to go down as one of our great bulls for many reasons. He continues to sell at his age and continues the popularity here as well.
Yeah, and one of the constant comments we get on Hometown, Brian, is, "Damn, they're good."
Yes.
You know, it's almost like people are a bit shocked at how good they really are.
I think then the next set of bulls we're going to roll into here is kind of some maternal bulls. And the first one we're going to talk about is another highlight bull in the Select Sires lineup in Rise Above. And Rise Above was a sale feature 2 years ago out of the Stelflug and Hoffman program there. He is a stagecoach son out of a Jet Black. We continue to bring in more bulls that offer as much good in one package as we can. We look for phenotype as well as good numbers, actual performance, good maternal line, and this bull kind of put all of that together in one package. If you read him on paper, it appears that he's going to excel for calving ease and growth, still bring some carcass along with that dollar M prediction, and maternal is really a standout with this. I think phenotypically, this bull is pretty moderate framed, but really excels for docility. He is extremely good himself and for docility, but also foot quality. He's got really good shape to his feet, and so I think this is a bull that can bring that added foot quality and docility in a maternal package.
Yeah, and like Craftsman, we can provide sex product on this bull, yeah?
Yes.
Yep. So,
yes.
You know.
Yeah, so then the next bull, kind of similar, we're going to roll right into a bull called Gibson. And Gibson is out of the Baldridge program, a Confidence Plus out of a Profit back to the Y69. So a very famous, proven pedigree. Yep. And this bull has been really popular here in the States. He's been popular overseas as well, not just in Australia, but other countries as well, for his balanced package of adding some phenotype, some performance, but also really that maternal. He scores really well for foot scores,
yep.
But also that high dollar M, and his physical appearance is also what draws people in. This bull is really complete in terms of his phenotype. He's deep-sided, a lot of muscle shape, a lot of fleshing ability. I think the other thing with this bull is here just recently, his full sister was a highlight at the Baldridge female sale, where I think half interest sold for $45,000, just embryo interest. And then actually one of her calves by Craftsman was a highlight in that sale as well.
Yep. Really elite foot scores, really elite growth back home. Again, goes back to the Y69 Compass, really popular bull back home for his maternal strengths.
I think you'll talk about the next one, Dale, and Foremost.
Yep, so this is a bull out of the LT program called Foremost. Probably very similar to the LT Converse bull. You know, probably brings a lot of that. We spoke about it, Ryan, about that maternal strength. Probably what you really expect out of an LT bull. You know, perfect footed, super docile, big nutted, square butt, you know, really, really nice bull. A lot of interest in this bull back home. Already sold quite a lot of semen on him. And, you know, similar pedigree to Gibson as well. So just a really, really nice bull. I'm pretty sure we'll sell this bull out this spring.
That's pretty good. And
yeah.
Another thing I like about the last two bulls is the Confidence Plus piece.
Yep.
Because as we've learned, if we can put Confidence Plus in a pedigree somewhere, that's like gold.
Yep.
It's turned out to be that way. People admire those cattle. They really admire the females, and so another good son of a really good bull.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people comment on that. It's interesting how many pedigrees now see Confidence Plus pop up.
Brian, I think the next bull we're going to toss to you in Black Label.
Okay, this is a bull that we got a couple years ago out of the Riverbend program, a Salvation son that goes back to a Surefire that actually I was a little bit involved with that cow at one point in time back when she traded a couple times. She goes back to Way Up. One of the things I really like about this bull is, I say it this way, I've only seen this bull 3 or 4 times, but as I watched him mature, he really grew up. This bull is a dude. I mean, he is an impressive beast. The one thing I really like about him is he still writes a calving ease pedigree. So there's not a lot of bulls in the breed today that you can look at and say, my gosh, what a stud, and yet still talk about calving ease. This is a good example. The data lines up very well. Over 1 for marbling, over 1 for ribeye. That's always a plus in our program. Just from a pedigree standpoint, from a phenotype standpoint, and from the data he presents, I think there's one that a lot of people have to latch on to.
Yeah, I think the cool thing about this bull is you go look at him in person, and just like you said, Brian, he is a dude. He's got lots of shape, lots of red meat and muscle in him.
Yep.
Then you look at him on paper, and he's over a point for marbling. There's not many bulls that physically can do that and complement it with the marbling and carcass as well.
Yeah, probably got in a little late for a heavy use back home, but hopefully heading into the spring, we'll see some heavy use on it. Yep.
Yeah, so the next bull I think I'm going to talk about is Square Deal, Deep Creek Square Deal. And this is a bull that when we brought this bull in, and I shared him with our team on Facebook, I immediately told Dale, I said, Dale, we found you a bull. We found a bull that fits your market to a T, and it's worked out that way. He comes across really good on Australian data. But this is a bull that we're excited about. There's a lot of excitement here in the States. He's driving up the sales chart in his first year. Originally had found this bull because of his pedigree and maternal pedigree. He has really exceptional ratios. His grand dam and dam are off the charts for weaning weight ratios. But then this bull scanned really well also. He's got a big time IMF ratio. You look at him on paper and he's just really well balanced. There's some calving ease, there's growth, there's really good foot scores, there's some carcass and marbling to go with it. There's just really not many holes in this bull. And this is another one that you're going to get to see some of the family of this when you're on tour here in the States. And I'm excited for you to see that, to see really what this bull can do.
His data, we talked about Tally Porter being balanced. This bull is balanced across the board. He's positive rib and rump, he's got elite growth, he's got really good foot scores. A lot of excitement on this bull in Australia. Like, this bull's already sold out this autumn, every single straw. And some elite purebred operations have jumped into this bull big time. So I think this bull's going to be one of the big time bulls of the spring back home in Australia.
And you know what else, Dale? We'll make more.
You'll make more. Well, you better make a lot.
No, that's really good.
He's created a lot of excitement.
Brian, the next bull is Easy Decision. You're going to talk about him.
Okay, we brought this bull in from the Coleman program, and I guess I had the good fortune to get out to Larry's the last couple summers with tours, and so we got to see a lot of these cattle, a lot of the families that this bull comes from. And actually, his sire Rock was one that our groups, as we were touring, they fell in love with. And we really, at one point in time, talked about even doing something with that bull. We weren't able to, but we got a good son, a bull called Easy Decision. We got Donna represented in the pedigree multiple times, and that's always a plus. In the world of those people that are looking to make better cows, Larry Coleman and his program have done that consistently as far as the Angus breed is concerned, with stacking of the cows that really work. And it's more about stacking the cows more so than it is the bulls. So here's one of these special bulls that Larry's produced that's got great data. And again, we talk about foot scores, and that's one of the things that they're very conscious of, and he makes those things work. High docility, which is always a plus, no matter where you're at, but easy fleshing, maternal kind of cows that are right sized, good looking, that'll have lots of productivity, and that's where this bull fits.
Yep, and interestingly, the foot scores and the docility have come across into the Australian database.
Which is really good.
Yep, so they match up really well. And this is another bull that's caused a lot of interest back home as well. A lot of people were talking about this bull at Rockhampton.
Larry named this bull Easy Decision because he was the easy decision for them to keep and use. They kept the bull, they used the bull really hard, and so I think that also plays into it that, you know, they believe in the bull, they believe in the cow family, and we're excited to have him in our lineup. Next bull I'm going to talk about is Essential, Sits Essential, and this was a calving ease bull that we had admired when he sold in the Sits sale, but was unable to bring him in at that point, but through our partners, Spring Cove in Idaho, we were able to acquire the bull later. This is a bull that is exceptional for phenotype, really good looking, a lot of length, a lot of eye appeal. The calves are really snappy. They've got, he's a great calving ease sire, but he also offers still some growth. The other unique piece to this, which I know Pap's not as important in Australia, but we kind of talked about it when I was down there. He excels for that, but also he excels for marbling. And so the combination of kind of calving ease, growth, marbling, really make this bull pretty unique in a pretty maternal package as well. Those first sons at Spring Cove this spring were really well received. A lot of commercial producers were after those bulls to be headline heifer bulls for him.
Yep, and his data's really come back as an elite Carbonese bull back home. So a little bit of use, again, a bull that we probably didn't get a lot of semen on early, but you know, I think a bull that'll get used into that heifer deal quite hard come the spring. So, yep.
So, and then I think to kind of wrap up here, we're gonna talk about kind of a group of 3 bulls here, especially carcass bulls that we're really excited about this group of bulls. In Home Run, Preeminent, and Power Cat. Just as you expect from the Gardner program and Gardner breeding, they excel for carcass quality. They're exceptional for ribeye. They're great for marbling, carcass weight, dollar B, all those things you expect. But I think if you study these 3 bulls even a little deeper, they bring even a lot more than that. They're really good for calving ease. They're good for growth. But if you study them, they're pretty good for heifer pregnancy, hair shedding, and some of the other convenience traits that maybe we don't always think about or forget. They kind of wrap a lot of that all into one.
Yeah, and we talk about bulls that have built a bit of hype, Brian, back home. Certainly the Power Cat bull and the Home Run bull have created a lot of interest. We don't have the semen yet, but you talk about, you know, phone calls. You know, I've consistently had phone calls about these bulls. When are they going to ride? When are they going to ride?
Well, and one of the things that's always fun with these bulls, and especially in Australia, you have a lot of customers that are watching what happens at a Gardner sale.
Yes.
So we get the good fortune again of having access to those bulls. They get to come here, we make semen, and it helps you and helps your customers. So it's a process, and I guess one of the other goals in that program is to find a son better than the sire. So we step ahead each time we do it. So just like the hometown bull that we know and respect that bull a lot, we've got a bull called Home Run that actually takes hometown to another level. More growth, higher carcass traits, and do those kind of things. And these other bulls follow right behind him.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at the Power Cat bull, he looks a bull as well. He has that look, he has that phenotype, and then he has the data set. And I mean, I think looking at the American EPDs, you know, I think that they're going to come across into the Australian data set pretty well. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Just depends on where they settle, but they'll be elite for carcass traits, there's no doubt.
The other piece about Powercat, why he's so popular here and valuable to Select Sires, is his pedigree. He is a different pedigree, especially for our Select Sires customers, and so he outcrosses not only to a lot of other carcass pedigrees, but just some of our popular pedigrees as well, the Tahoes, the Growth Funds. I mean, we feel like this bull can be a perfect fit on some of those pedigrees as well as, you know, the other carcass pedigrees as well.
Well, that probably wraps us up. I think we could talk all day.
We could go through more bulls.
We could go through a lot more bulls, but we're a little time poor. That's our presentation. We hope everyone enjoyed the night. We hope everyone enjoys the rest of the evening. And if you've got any questions, feel free to contact anyone in the beef team at Worldwide Sires and even at Select Sires. We're all one and the same. And yeah, hope everyone has a good night. Thank you.
Well, good evening everybody and welcome to the Angus Spring Bull Night. I'm Nigel Semmons, this is Charlotte Broadbridge from ST Genetics New Zealand, Ben Kreitz and Aaron Arnett for ST Genetics in the USA. We're currently on location at ST Genetics facility in Tiffin, Ohio. We've just had a great day inspecting many of the bulls we're going to talk about tonight. And Ben and Aaron and Charlotte, we really appreciate your input into our Angus Spring Bull Night video. Ben and Aaron, one of the bulls that's impressed us and the group that was with us today was Keneally Craftsman. He's been one of our high-selling bulls in Australia in the last 12 months since he's become available, and he's been extremely popular for you guys here. What's some of your comments on Craftsman?
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks for being here, Nigel and Charlotte, and just honored to spend some time with you here. Craftsman was our top-selling bull in 2023 for ST Genetics, and for good reason. You know, he was the lead-off bull from Keneally's a couple years ago. Just has a variety of traits that are very interesting and very timely to Angus breeders right now. Big ratioing, big performance bull that's got lots of carcass extras. He's got really high fertility scores for some of the fertility traits that we measure here in the U.S. And the bull's got an incredible look to him. He's just really, really good shouldered, good necked, big top, big hip. His feet are excellent. And the semen quality's been really, really good so far. I'll let Ben maybe mention some things about Craftsman's mother and her record, but his mother is one of the highlights of Craftsman's portfolio.
We were really excited to acquire Craftsman, and his mother was sure a piece of that puzzle as you study his performance pedigree, and the nursing ratio or the weaning ratio of Craftsman's mother just lights out and incredible. A really refined female, but a beautiful udder, very, very feminine. And doing a tremendous job, not only with Craftsman, but our other calves as you look at her production ratios. The other thing I would add in, Aaron, on Craftsman would be the attractiveness of his progeny, how he really stamps his progeny with that same visual muscle, shape, and extension that Craftsman has. Very, very much transmits that to his progeny, and it was pretty easy to pick those out of a group of calves. Pretty easy to identify who the Craftsmans were in those groups.
Yep. Yep. And for those interested in Australia, we'll have sex semen available on Craftsman this spring as well. So we'll have male and female sex semen available, as well as plenty conventional.
Hi everyone, here again with Nick Moyle from Pathfinder Angus. And Nick, ST Genetics was fortunate to be a part of acquiring Pathfinder Tasmania. He would have been the high-selling bull in the Queensland sale. Why don't you talk a little bit about the excitement that was behind Tasmania and the future you think he has?
Yeah, thanks, Ben. He's a really unique bull. There's not much he doesn't have. He's got natural thickness, unlike a lot of high marbling bulls. He has got plenty of thickness and muscle. His feet are great. He's out of a reality cow, so the basis is all there. He's 7.3 for marbling, low mature cow weight. He's good for growth with exceptional calving ease and calving ease daughters. So it's a really unique combination of data with the bull to go with it, and you can use him with confidence, but with his feet and his thickness, you don't sacrifice any thickness with him.
Very good. A lot of excitement again around Tasmania, and if you are interested in using Tasmania in your breeding program, feel free to reach out to ST Genetics Australia with any questions.
ST Genetics is pleased to announce tonight at the Spring Bull Night that we'll have a new pricing structure for Pathfinder Tasmania T756. He's now available in sex semen at $80 a straw, seed stock use is $60 a straw, and for commercial producers he's readily available at $35 a straw. So please feel free to contact ST Genetics to source your T756 semen for spring 2024. One of the bulls that was a highlight on our tour last year, and again today, a bull that really stood out to ourselves and to a group we hosted here, was Baldridge Heat Seeker, who coincidentally has a full sister coming up for sale in a couple of weeks in Baldridge's sale, so it'd be great to see how she goes. What do you think, Ben, on Heat Seeker?
Heat Seeker was one that we were excited to add into our lineup as you study that bull's pedigree, his phenotype and his presence that he brings, and then his EPD profile or EBV profile. Really excited about bringing in Heat Seeker. His mother would be a Confidence Plus out of Y69, the EO48 cow. Just incredibly feminine, very refined, has a beautiful shoulder, a head and neck, tons of rib shape and capacity, and you see that when you study Heat Seeker. Maybe a little bit more modest in his stature, very robust in his shape, loads of middle and body and substance in that bull. As visitors have came through the facility, as visitors were here today, and as we've seen that bull, really one that was a crowd favorite and pretty easily rose to the top of favorites of visitors that come through our facility.
While we're on the theme of Clarity sons, another popular Clarity son in Australia has been Poss Winchester, who recently, with the addition of some progeny data in Australia, has moved below breed average on birth weight, exceptionally short gestation length, about -9, still with top growth and top 1%, and some great carcass traits as well. So Aaron Winchester, his maternal brother to Rawhide, pretty good pick up there with those two bulls. What's your thoughts on Winchester?
Yeah, so going back to the Clarity thing, Nigel, we set out when we lost that bull. We had Clarity in our lineup for, I think, about 18 months. When we lost that bull, we set out to find the 2 or 3 best Clarity sons we could find. Network was one, but Winchester was one as well. And Winchester, again, being a maternal brother to Rawhide, but also just the quality and the performance that was in Winchester was incredible. We think for bulls that in our system that are really high for carcass traits, really high for growth, sometimes you gotta do some extra sorting, to look for the ones that physically you really like. And Winchester is extra robust in the way he's built. He's got lots of chest floor. He's got a little more bone and stoutness than the average Angus bull. And he's a big hipped bull as well. He's wide in his pin set, very muscular, has a lot of visual muscle, and he's top and hip. And those things come through in his progeny. And so when you take the pedigree, the genetic script, and the visual appraisal of that bull together in one, he becomes a pretty unique individual.
Aaron, one of the new bulls you've just released here a couple of weeks ago, and he will be available in Australia this spring, is KC Kingston. You want to give us a bit of background on this new young bull?
Yeah, so Kingston we're really excited about. There's a bull that's got a very unique genetic profile. He does a lot of things well. He'd be well into the top 1% of the breed for several traits that are important in the U.S. and I think for you guys as well. And out of a really neat cow that's very productive, a cow that's got an awesome genetic profile as well. As you study Kingston, he's a Poss ratified son, and then out of a side gen merit daughter. So a little bit of an outcross pedigree, a grandson of our Poss Rawhide bull that's been so successful in ST Genetics. So the bull's really athletic in his build, very good footed, very good from the ground up, just very flexible throughout his spine and skeleton. And we think that bull's going to offer a lot of unique things.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed with him when we inspected him today. What do you think, Ben?
I really appreciate that bull's structure as he's continued to mature and develop. I think really structurally correct, as Aaron said, really loose in his structure, gets out and moves and travels really well. I just echo the comments on the cow, doing an exceptional job. A really long spine, really long body, has some performance. I think Kingston has a really bright future.
Alpine 38 Special SO21 joined the ST Genetics team in early 2023. He's been one of our most popular bulls over the past 12 months. And it's no wonder, given his low birth weight and his high growth, combined with high carcass merit, positive fats, and excellent structural potential. SO21 scored 5s on all his beef class structural assessments. He was the highest selling bull in the sale at $120,000, purchased by Arkle Farms. He's now currently available in conventional semen and also male and female sex semen. He's been exported to a number of countries as well. He's a young sire whose first calf crop have been exceptional and highly rated by a number of people that have inspected them both at Arkle Farms and at Alpine Angus. His dam continues to be an integral part of the Alpine program, being one of their leading donors, and still continues to conceive to AI. She's conceived to AI 7 years in a row. So if you're looking for a young sire that's got a balanced set of EBVs, with his claw data in the top 1% of the breed and his foot angle in the top 2% of the breed, and also the advantage of some positive fat, high MF, then I can suggest you consider Alpine 38 Special SO21 for spring in 2024. One of the first Australian Angus bulls to join the SG Genetics team was Alpine Ronaldo, purchased by Hard Hat Angus from the Alpine Spring Sale in 2022. Brad Kavanagh has been kind enough to join us tonight and share some of his thoughts on both Ronaldo and Ronaldo's progeny in the Hard Hat program. Thanks for joining us tonight, Brad.
Yeah, Nigel, no, thanks for having me. Pleasure to be here. Ronaldo himself is going extremely well. He's grown into a big, deep-bodied, extremely long bull, which we kind of saw in him at a young age and really appealed to us, the body length of the bull, his extension through the front end and how structurally sound he was, how mobile he was. So yeah, we're in the search for a Rennie Lee N542 son. Back when we bought Ronaldo and kind of looked around, we thought the N542s were extremely even and very phenotypically strong, with an obviously a good data set behind them. But we were probably in search for something that had the calving ease that really appealed to us through Ronaldo. So, a couple of years on now, we've carved down our first run of heifers to Ronaldo. Spring of 2023, calving ease was really solid, as his data predicted, which was pleasing. It's not always the case, but we're always confident he would be a very solid calving ease bull based on his constitution and his structure and how sound he was and sound through the neck and his shoulder, neck attachment was always really impressive. So it's good to see that the calving ease data follow that through the following year. We just scanned yearling bulls, ultrasound scanned yearling bulls by him last week. The scrotal circumferences on those yearlings was really impressive compared to the contemporaries. Their structural soundness was extremely good. And just the mobility and the length of the progeny coming through is, a real, chip off the old block really, which is really pleasing, the way those progeny have come through the last couple of weeks.
Canamble Samson is a bull that joined the ST Genetics team in 2023. Craig Davis has been kind enough to join us tonight and share some of his thoughts on Samson with us. Thanks for joining us tonight, Craig.
Yeah, thanks, Nigel. Thanks for having me. Samson's a big part of our program, and we're enjoying seeing his progeny come along. We're currently using a son of his that's just gone out to work in the last 3 or 4 weeks, backing up our AI program, and there'll be a few more following down the in the coming season. His family is a big part, or it involves his family encompasses probably the 3 most influential cows that have been a part of our program over the last 20 years, and then obviously you throw in the Y69 cow and the Tracy T, the Buramuka Tracy T 4 cow, and it's a pretty strong pedigree. He gives us the calves come out with plenty of bone, and the feed on the progeny we're seeing come through have been really good, and the temperament is also standing up. So we couldn't be we're really happy with them. Couldn't be happy with them. It's obviously our oldest calves are April born, so they 16, 17 months old now. They and yeah, we haven't had any issues with them. They've been really good, and as I said, we're really pleased with the amount of bone that the calves are showing. They've got length, and the coats on them seem good too. So yeah, going forward, we're sort of using him a bit more strategically now in ET work, but yeah, it's all positive. His dam's been flushed and has actually just gone back out with the bull now. So yeah, there'll be a little bit more from that line coming through in the next couple of years.
Hello, I'm Scott Wright, the CEO at Angus Australia. I'm joined by Gary Cartwright from Elders. Here today, we're up at Beef Australia and we're proud to announce the partnership for the World Angus Forum between Elders as a major sponsor and Angus Australia. The World Angus Forum happens not every 4 years around the world. There's 26 Angus producing countries, and we're hoping to have over 1,000 delegates descend on Australia to look at what we're doing in Angus seed stock in Australia. Great opportunity to showcase the Angus breed in Australia, and we're very thankful for partners like Elders that help us run a great event. We'll have a live cattle exhibition in Tamworth, followed by the World Angus Forum at South Bank in Brisbane. Great opportunity to show our breed to the world. So Gary, thank you for coming on behalf of Elders as a partner for Angus Australia.
Yep, thank you.
Great to have Elders on board.
Yep, no worries, thank you, and thanks once again. Elders have been around 185 years and proud to be great supporters of it. Thank you.
Elders work with many of our members around Australia. It's a long-standing partnership across the breed, seed stock and commercial, so we're looking forward to putting on a great event in May 2025.
Thanks everyone, that's a wrap on our 2024 Angus Australia Spring Bull Night. We really hope you've enjoyed it and found a bull or two of interest to you. Please feel free to reach out to the semen companies or be able to do a search online through Semen Select on the Angus Tech database. And we really wish you all the best for your upcoming spring joinings, and we hope you have a prosperous 2024. Thank you.